And away we go. Hello and welcome back. Thanks for joining me on my ride home from the airport. This is probably going to be a quick one. There's not a whole lot to discuss. It was a nice trip down to Sydney, saw some good friends. Saw David and Dalma from Two Wheels In get married. They did a town hall thing, which was pretty cool. Like, it was actually much cooler than I thought it was going to be. And now they are ball and chain. But yeah, it was really cool. A good ceremony. I met a couple of cool people. Saw my old friend On. Of course, saw David and Dalma. Hopefully they'll be coming to my wedding soon. We do not have a date set. Let me know in the comments down below if you want to come. We'll see what we can do. While you're at it, hey, you know, a like and a subscribe would make a great wedding present for everyone involved. So, if you watched the preceding video, you know that this bike is for sale. It is now officially for sale for what I think is a reasonable price. I've been checking bike sales. I've been doing my research, and I've seen that bikes that have 30 to 40,000 kilometers on them are going in the mid sixes. So I'm asking mid five for this. This has 54,000 kilometers on it, and it has been meticulously maintained. It is in good condition. If you buy this bike and you take care of it, you will still be riding this bike in 100,000 kilometers, and you'll be happy. It's such a great bike. I did think of a flaw. It's not the best nighttime riding bike when it's not well lit. Like here, it's really well lit. But about halfway home, that's going to stop, and it's going to be pretty dark most of the way. And the headlights on this bike are not great. That is something you can remedy. You can put in you can replace the stock bulb with a LED bulb. A lot of people do that with these bikes. I meant to, but you know, I'm lazy and I just never did it. There is a slight modification that's needed to fit the LED bulb in there, because it's got a cooling apparatus. It's got a heat sink on the back, so you have to make a slight modification to fit that in. If you don't want to do that, it's easy to throw on a set of Denali lights or some other type of lights like that, some other set of auxiliary lights. You can get ones that just are just about as bright as the sun, and the headlights will never be a problem. I would do it myself, but then I would have to charge more for this bike, and I'm not going to do that. So, once again, $5,250 without the GPS, or $5,750 with the GPS. That is fair. Earlier, I was saying, what could Kawasaki do to improve this bike, to make this a better bike when they come out with the Gen 4 version, if they ever do? And I don't think they're gonna for a couple years, because they just gave this one a little bit of a facelift. They gave it a slightly different front. They gave it a TFT screen, which you can get, I guess, if you want to spend $8,000 more. But improvements, Like real improvements to this bike? Handling wise, I can't think of a thing. They could improve the saddle a little bit to make it more comfortable on long trips like this. Engine wise, some people say that this engine isn't the most inspiring engine. I think it's a fun engine. I guess they could make this one of those parallel twins with a 270-degree firing order. Make it a little more V-twin-like, give it a little bit more character. And maybe that would be better. I don't know. But they're probably not going to do that. Kawasaki doesn't usually do things like that. And as it is, this is a good engine. It's fun. Is it the fastest? No. Does it sound great? When you accelerate out of turns, or you just hit the gas to overtake or something, it has a great induction noise. Like, that's an inspiring sound. So for me, if I have a good sounding induction roar, and that's important. I think that's the most important thing, to be honest. That's why Yamaha put those speakers on top of their gas tank, so you could really hear that induction roar. What do you think of that anyways? Those speakers on top of the fuel tank. Is that a little weird? Post a comment. Let me know what you think. I know the CP3 is one of the great engines that are out there right now. I'd love to ride one sometime. In some ways, the Tracer 9 GT or Tracer 9 GT Plus or whatever it is almost the perfect bike for me. But there's a couple of problems. One, I have read that you deal with a lot of buffering off of the windscreen, and I don't want to deal with that. And two, this might be superficial, but it still matters. If you like Yamaha's design language, if you like their aesthetic, then you love those bikes. I do not think that those are attractive motorcycles. There's nothing about them that when I walk away from one, I want to turn back and look at it some more. I think they look a little garish. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. This is just my taste, my aesthetic. I got in trouble. A couple of people, after doing my Triumph Tiger 900 video, a couple of people got mad at me in the comments. They were like, hey man, my bike is one of those old paint schemes, the ones you called boring. This is just my opinion. If you think it looks good, then it looks good. I'm not trying to hurt anybody's feeling. I'm just explaining things from my point of view. And I think Yamahas are ugly. Especially the ones with the brightly colored rims or wheels. I just think that's hideous. Like, it looks like a certain kind of car that back when I was younger, people used to modify them and put, these ridiculous aftermarket spoilers on them and make them all different stupid colors. And it just didn't look good. And that's what Yamahas look like to me. Like, they are the antithesis of the Ducatis, which just look elegant and mean and cool. They are nothing like the Tiger, which is such a classy looking bike, even with some of the more boring colors. I'm just kidding. Seriously. That red one is gorgeous though, man. That Carnival red, they call it. That Ducati, not Ducati, that Triumph. Oh, that's a good looking bike. They nailed that one. The BMW GS's, a couple of them look really nice. The triple black looks really nice. The 719, the green one, looks really nice. I know Bruce from Teapot One, Bruce, says that it looks chavvy. Hey Bruce, you gotta have a little personality to pull that one off, my brother. Anyways, I think they look good. I don't care as much for the other two. They look okay, not really for me. But all of those bikes, all of them, look better than the Yamahas. The Kawasaki's look better than the Yamahas. The only bike that doesn't really is to me is the Suzuki. I think a lot of the new Suzukis look strangely dated, and from what I hear, they're great bikes. Like, people are giving them rave reviews all over the place, but I think they're ugly. There's just something about them that makes them look a little dated to me. And that front end, and we live in an age of ugly ass front ends. The Tiger 1200 GT has one of the ugliest front ends I've ever seen, until you welcome the Harley Davidson Pan Am into the mix. Holy God, is that an ugly front end. And I think the rest of the Pan Am, I think when you look at the Pan Am from the side, I think it's a good looking bike. Like, I like that design. They've incorporated that into their Sportster as well, and I think it looks good. But the front end is an abortion of design. Kind of trying to go for a Cylon thing or something. Why don't you just call it kit? And it's the same. It's the same with the Tiger 1200. It's so ugly. But that Suzuki is a different kind of ugly. Like, it's not just ugly in a characterful way. It's just ugly in a poorly designed way. Hey, if it's your thing, man, go for it. Don't listen to me. If it's your thing, I'm glad it exists so you can have a thing. But I'm also glad that those other bikes exist so I don't have to ride it. Oh my God. Now watch this. I get paid back for that insensitive comment by this channel becoming successful and me having to go out and generate content by test riding bikes and end up having to ride that thing. And I'll probably love it. I'll probably be like, yeah, this bike's awesome. It's not pretty, but it's awesome. Because everybody else is saying so, and I believe them. It's hard to find a bad motorcycle nowadays, I think. Hey, I'm thinking of going out and trying to get my local Royal Enfield dealer to let me test ride the Himalayan 450. What do you think? Should I do that? Should I be a douchebag and go in there and say, hey man, look, I have no intention whatsoever of buying this thing. I have already purchased a motorcycle. But I have a moto vlog. I'm a content creator. Can I test ride it and do a review? It's supposed to be a good bike, so it's not like it'll be a bad review. I just feel so douchey saying something like that. And I only have like 40 subscribers. Welcome to the channel, by the way, folks. I genuinely appreciate every last one of you who has clicked that subscribe button. I hope you're finding these videos entertaining. I do. And I hope I haven't upset any of you with my comments about how certain bikes look. I probably pissed someone off. I can't believe I can't believe I got under somebody's skin. And he seemed, by the way, I don't think I really got under his skin. I think he, I think he was having fun with it. Hey man, I bought one of those boring white ones. Okay. Well, it's a great bike. Oh, it's so good. The Tiger 900, come on, man. That's a great bike. I loved riding it. I think about that bike every single day. Did I buy one? Maybe I did. Or did I? Teaser alert! I want to go home. How long until I'm home? 11:39. I'm making good time. 10:20, so that means it's 10:24. So an hour and a half. God damn it. No, not an hour and a half. An hour and 15 minutes, you illiterate bastard. you illiterate if you can't do math? So many rules nowadays. I have not reached the point in the ride where I'm starting to go insane, but I can tell it's not far off. You ever have that happen to you? You ever be on your bike and you're a little tired? Not so tired that you're dangerous or anything, but just a little bit tired, and it's a long ride and you just can't wait to get home, and so you start going a little bit crazy and you start telling yourself dumb jokes and singing, making up little songs and laughing at them, even though they're the dumbest thing ever to come out of your mouth. What? No? Is it just me? Oh no. Adult crime, adult time, LNP. You know, how about you guys go to jail for stuff you did? Stupid political posters. I'm so sick of politics. I'm a political. I wouldn't say I'm a political junkie, but I'm up to date. I'm fairly politically astute in U.S. politics, and I'm trying to improve my knowledge of Australian politics, since now I am a voting member of Australia. I'm a citizen now. I voted in my first election a couple of months ago. That was a little longer than that, about 6 months ago. That was a council thing, that was a local election. I could have voted in that even if I wasn't a citizen. But now that I'm a citizen, I have to vote in state and federal elections as well. So, gotta learn the landscape, gotta know what I'm talking about, gotta know who I'm voting for. Ipswich. So I gotta do that later this week. I gotta vote. I have voted in the US. I sent my ballot in a week ago today. I just received notice this morning that my vote has arrived in the United States. So now it's on its way to Pennsylvania, where hopefully it will be counted. It wouldn't surprise me if they found a reason not to. But hopefully they do. And hopefully good wins over fascism. That'll probably tell you who I'm voting for. I'm really worried about this one. I tell you what I am doing. I'm quitting Twitter. I'm finally quitting Twitter. I'm moving over to Blue Sky. I'm actually already on Mastodon, but and you know, there's some cool stuff over there. It's more of a techie place though than it is a place for sports. And that's the only thing that's kept me on Twitter this long is Devils Twitter, New Jersey Devils. I'm a New Jersey Devils fan, and there's a pretty good New Jersey Devils Twitter community out there. It can occasionally be kind of toxic, but it's still, you know, if I want to read about the Devils, I just log into Twitter and I can read about them for probably a good half hour or however long it takes me to poop. But I'm moving over to Blue Sky because screw this Elon guy, South African guy who doesn't care at all about the United States. He just wants to be the richest man in history, which he already is, but that's not enough. He's also got to ruin the U.S. government. Oh, this is where I stop for fuel, isn't it? Yes, it is. Yes, it is, folks. Let's see, this is also where I decide if I put on my hoodie, and I don't think so. It is still nice and warm. Usually by the time I'm here, I know if I am going to need my hoodie, and, well, today I don't. Oh, that's the Costco. As soon as I have the new bike, I'll be coming out to Costco here, because I need to get my eyes examined. Alright, I'm signing off for a minute so I can get some gasoline. Okay, fueled up. Ready to get back on the road. What was I talking about? Was I talking politics? This really isn't that kind of motor vlog. I think you guys all know that. I'm just expressing how stressed out I am by the whole thing. Alright, now we're getting into the dark part of the ride. And you can kind of see that the headlight on this one, it's okay. Its performance I would call average. I am outrunning it right now. Something could come into my field of view and it could be a little too late for me to do anything about it. I can see well enough, so that's not going to happen right now. There's still enough lights so that my vision isn't compromised. And once I get to a point where those lights go away, it becomes a little bit more difficult. If there's no traffic in front of me, I'll just throw on the high beam, and that'll give me enough extra illumination so that I feel like I can see a safe distance up the road. Yeah, these headlights, not great. At this point, that's the worst part of the bike. That's pretty easily fixable. I surely would have done it by now if I rode at night on a regular basis. I don't. The only time I ride at night is when I'm coming home from the airport. That's it. And I do that about 4 or 5 times a year. I am going to do a couple of night rides on the new bike right off the bat, just to put out some content, you know, just to show people how well the lights on that bike work at night. I have been told by many people that the lights on this bike are quite good, and I'm looking forward to that. But yeah, you want to fix the lights on this bike, just throw a LED bulb in there. Done. Problem solved. Or throw some aux lights on. Auxiliary lights will, you know, some bright LED auxiliary lights will fix the whole problem. Don't buy the Kawasaki ones. I don't think they're very good, and they're big and they're ugly. I'm not even sure if they're LED. If they're just halogens and they're not really worth it. I must not be as far as I thought, because there's still a good bit of light here. Yeah, I have thoughts about things. Politics, motorcycle aesthetics, places to get married. Oh, you know what? Before I sign off, I've had multiple people, this is really weird for me, I've had multiple people reach out to me and say, hey, which should I buy? Bike A or Bike B? That's a tough one for me to answer, not knowing what your situation is. And even if I do, I'm not you. I don't know what's best for you. It's really interesting that people think that not many people, it's like 2 so far, but people are looking at me and saying, hey, you know what you're talking about, tell me what to do. Folks, that's a lot of responsibility. You know, if you want to know something about these bikes that I've been riding, do go ahead and ask, and I'll answer your questions to the best of my ability. But go test ride them if you possibly can. One guy who was reaching out to me couldn't test ride. Okay, yeah, I get that. So asking me opinions, yeah, sure, that's valid. Alright, I think I've said everything I have to say. Let's call it a night. Thanks for coming along and keeping me company on the ride, folks. I appreciate all of you. If you enjoy this, please do like and subscribe. Leave a comment, even if it's just to say hi.